Welcome to my YouTube channel $.U.S.A United States, a channel where every coin tells a true story of American history. In today's episode, we take you on a fascinating journey through 6 iconic United States Washington quarter dollars, spanning more than 2 decades of change, resilience, and national identity. From the 1967 quarter with no mint mark, born during America's silver crisis, to the 1968 D quarter, marking the return of mint marks, from the early 1970s issues like 1971 D and 1974 Philadelphia quarters that circulated during economic uncertainty and political change, to the late 1970s 1977 D quarter reflecting America's struggle with inflation and energy crises, and finally to the 1988 D quarter, a symbol of stability and modern America in the late Cold War era. Each of these coins is more than just 25 cents. They are silent witnesses of history, passing through millions of hands during wars, protests, economic reforms, and everyday life. In this video, we will explore their designs, mint marks, metal composition, historical background, and collector value, uncovering the hidden stories behind these everyday treasures. If you love old US coins, rare history, and real stories locked inside metal, then you are in the right place. Stay with Old Quarter Dollar, see United States, and let's begin this incredible journey through America's quarter dollar history. United States. Top 1. The 1967 United States quarter dollar is one of the most historically interesting coins of modern America because it was produced during a time of economic pressure, silver shortages, and major changes in U.S. coinage policy. This coin belongs to the Washington Quarter Series, which was first introduced in 1932 to honor the birth anniversary of George Washington, the first president of the United States. By 1967, the Washington Quarter had already become a familiar symbol of American money, patriotism, and everyday commerce. The obverse, front, of the 1967 quarter features the left-facing portrait of George Washington, designed by sculptor John Flanagan. Washington's image is calm, dignified, and powerful, reflecting leadership, unity, and strength, qualities the U.S. government wanted to emphasize during the politically tense 1960s. Above Washington's head appears the word liberty, a core American value symbolizing freedom, democracy, and independence. To the left of Washington's neck is the motto "In God We Trust," which had become a standard inscription on U.S. coins. By the mid below the portrait is the date 1967, clearly marking the year of issue. One of the most important features of the 1967 quarter is that it has no mint mark. This was intentional, not a mistake. Between 1965 and 1967, the United States Mint removed mint marks from all circulating coins. The reason was widespread coin hoarding. After the U.S. removed silver from quarters in 1965, many people began collecting coins based on mint marks, hoping to profit from rarities. To stop this behavior and keep coins in circulation, the mint temporarily eliminated mint marks. Even though these coins were struck in Philadelphia, they do not carry a P mint mark. This makes the 1967 quarter part of a special anonymous mint era in U.S. numismatic history. The reverse, back of the coin features a heraldic bald eagle, the national bird of the United States. The eagle is shown with wings spread wide, holding a bundle of arrows in its talons, symbolizing strength and readiness to defend the nation. Beneath the eagle are olive branches, representing peace. Above the eagle is the motto "E pluribus unum," meaning out of many one, a reference to the unity of the states forming one nation. Around the outer edge are the inscriptions "United States of America" and "Quarter Dollar," clearly identifying the country and denomination. From a metal and composition standpoint, the 1967 quarter marks a major shift in American coinage. Before 1965, quarters were made of 90% silver and 10% copper. However, due to rising silver prices and shortages, the Coinage Act of 1965 removed silver from quarters entirely. As a result, the 1967 quarter is clad, made of outer layers of copper-nickel bonded to a pure copper core. This change allowed the U.S. Mint to produce large quantities of coins at lower cost while preserving the familiar silver-colored appearance. In terms of specifications, the 1967 quarter has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters, a weight of 5.67 grams, and a reeded, grooved edge. These specifications were designed to keep vending machines and coin-operated devices working properly despite the metal change. The reeded edge also helped prevent counterfeiting and gave the coin a classic, premium feel. Historically, 1967 was a turbulent year in the United States. The country was deeply involved in the Vietnam War, civil rights movements were reshaping society, and economic uncertainty was widespread. The quarter you're holding may have passed through the hands of people during protests, wartime spending, everyday shopping, and historic national events. This gives the coin not just monetary value, but strong historical and cultural significance. The mintage, number produced, of the 1967 quarter was extremely high, over 1.5 billion coins were struck. This was done deliberately to fight coin shortages across the country. Because of this massive production, the 1967 quarter is very common today and widely available in circulation and collections. When it comes to value, a standard circulated 1967 quarter is usually worth face value, 25 cents. However, coins in uncirculated or mint-state condition can be worth more, especially if they have strong luster and no wear. High-grade examples certified by professional grading services can sell for several dollars to higher amounts, depending on condition. Rare errors such as off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or double dies can be worth significantly more and are actively sought by collectors. For coin collectors, the 1967 quarter is important because it represents the end of silver quarters, the no-mint mark era, a key chapter in U.S. monetary reform, a widely collected date in Washington quarter albums. In summary, the United States quarter dollar 1967, Liberty, no mint mark, is not just an ordinary coin. It is a symbol of economic change, national history, and modern American coinage. While it may not be rare in everyday condition, its story, design, and place in history make it a must-know coin for collectors, historians, and anyone interested in the evolution of U.S. money. Next, top 2. The United States of America quarter dollar dated 1968 with the D mint mark is an important and meaningful coin in modern U.S. numismatic history because it represents a transition period after the removal of silver from circulating coinage and the return of mint marks following a special anti-hoarding policy. This coin belongs to the long-running Washington quarter series, first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington, the nation's first president and a central symbol of American independence, leadership, and democratic ideals. By 1968, the Washington quarter had become one of the most widely used and recognized coins in everyday American life, circulating through millions of hands during a decade marked by political tension, cultural change, and economic transformation. On the obverse front of the 1968 D quarter is the familiar left-facing portrait of George Washington, designed by sculptor John Flanagan. Washington's expression is serious and composed, reflecting dignity, strength, and responsibility, qualities the United States associated with stable leadership during the turbulent late 1960s. Above Washington's head is the word liberty, one of the most powerful concepts in American identity, symbolizing freedom of thought, speech, and self-governance. To the left of Washington's neck appears the national motto "In God We Trust," emphasizing faith and moral guidance, while the date 1968 is positioned below the portrait, marking the year of issue during a period of social unrest, the Vietnam War, and rapid cultural shifts in the United States. A key distinguishing feature of this coin is the D mint mark, located on the obverse near Washington's ponytail. This mint mark indicates that the coin was struck at the Denver Mint in Colorado. The presence of the mint mark is historically significant because 1968 was the first year mint marks returned to U.S. coins after being removed from 1965 through 1967. The U.S. Mint had eliminated mint marks during those years to discourage collectors and investors from hoarding coins during the silver crisis. Their return in 1968 signaled that the government believed coin circulation had stabilized and that normal mint identification could resume. The reverse back of the 1968 D quarter features the traditional heraldic bald eagle, a powerful national emblem of the United States. The eagle is shown with wings spread wide, clutching arrows in its talons, representing military strength and readiness to defend the nation, while olive branches beneath the eagle symbolize peace and diplomacy. Above the eagle appears the Latin motto E pluribus unum, meaning out of many one, reflecting the unity of the states into a single nation. Encircling the design are the inscriptions United States of America and quarter dollar, clearly identifying the issuing country and denomination. From a composition and material perspective, the 1968 D quarter is part of the new generation of clad coinage introduced after the Coinage Act of 1965. Unlike earlier Washington quarters minted before 1965, which contained 90% silver, the 1968 quarter is made of copper-nickel clad metal, consisting of two outer layers of copper-nickel bonded to a solid copper core. This change was made to reduce production costs and prevent the hoarding and melting of silver coins as silver prices rose. Despite the absence of silver, the coin retained a bright, silver-like appearance to maintain public trust and familiarity. The physical specifications of the 1968 D quarter include a diameter of 24.3 millimeters, a weight of 5.67 grams, and a reeded edge with evenly spaced grooves. The reeded edge serves both a functional and historical purpose. It helps deter counterfeiting and preserves continuity with earlier silver coin designs. These specifications ensured compatibility with vending machines and coin-operated systems throughout the United States. Historically, the year 1968 was one of the most dramatic in American history. It was a time of widespread protest against the Vietnam War, major civil rights struggles, and profound social change. Events such as the assassinations of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Robert F. Kennedy deeply affected the nation. The 1968 D-quarter circulated during these historic moments, making it a silent witness to everyday life in an era of national upheaval. Every coin from this year carries with it the story of Americans navigating uncertainty, change, and hope. In terms of mintage, the Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of 1968 D-quarters to meet the country's demand for circulating coinage. Because of this high production, the coin is common in circulated condition and is frequently found in collections and occasionally even in pocket change today. However, its importance lies not in rarity but in its historical role as the first Denver minted quarter after the mint mark freeze. Regarding collector value, a circulated 1968 D-quarter is generally worth face value, 25 cents. Coins in uncirculated or mint state condition, especially those with strong luster and minimal contact marks, can command higher prices, particularly if professionally graded. Exceptional examples in very high grades may sell for several dollars or more. Additionally, error coins, such as off-center strikes, double dies, clipped planchets or improper clad bonding, are highly collectible and can be worth significantly more depending on the severity and visibility of the error. For collectors, the 1968 D Washington quarter is especially meaningful because it represents the return of mint marks to U.S. coins, the post-silver era of American coinage, a key date in the late 1960s historical timeline, an essential piece in Washington quarter collections. In conclusion, the United States quarter dollar 1968 D mint mark, Liberty, is far more than a simple circulating coin. It is a powerful artifact of American history, symbolizing economic adaptation, national resilience, and continuity during one of the most challenging decades of the 20th century. Whether held by a collector, studied by a historian, or featured in a YouTube documentary, this coin tells a story of a nation moving forward while honoring its past. Next top 3. The United States of America quarter dollar dated 1971 D mint mark is a classic example of post-silver American coinage and represents a period when the United States was redefining its economic priorities while continuing long-standing traditions in coin design. This coin belongs to the Washington Quarter Series, a design first introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington, the first president of the United States and a lasting symbol of leadership, unity, and national identity. By 1971, the Washington Quarter had been in continuous production for nearly 4 decades, becoming one of the most familiar and widely circulated coins in American daily life, used by millions of citizens for commerce, transportation, and everyday transactions. The obverse front of the 1971 D quarter features the iconic left-facing bust of George Washington, sculpted by John Flanagan. Washington's portrait conveys dignity, calm authority, and wisdom, reflecting the values the United States wished to project during the early 1970s, a time marked by both uncertainty and modernization. Above Washington's head is the word liberty, one of the most powerful and enduring principles in American political philosophy, representing freedom, independence, and democratic governance. To the left of Washington's neck is the national motto "In God We Trust," reinforcing faith and moral grounding, while the date 1971 appears below, identifying the coin's year of issue during a transformative era in U.S. history. A defining feature of this coin is the D mint mark, located on the obverse near Washington's ponytail, which indicates that the coin was struck at the Denver Mint in Colorado. The Denver Mint played a crucial role in supplying circulating coinage for the western and central United States, and by 1971 it was producing large volumes of coins to meet the demands of a growing population and expanding economy. The presence of the mint mark also reflects the return to normal mint identification practices after the temporary suspension of mint marks from 1965 to 1967, making the 1971 D quarter part of a stabilized and standardized minting system. The reverse back of the 1971 D quarter displays the traditional heraldic bald eagle, a powerful national symbol representing strength, vigilance, and freedom. The eagle is depicted with wings fully spread, clutching a bundle of arrows to signify military readiness and national defense, while olive branches beneath the eagle symbolize peace and diplomacy. Above the eagle appears the Latin motto "E pluribus unum," meaning out of many one, a phrase that captures the unity of the states within the federal system. Surrounding the design are the inscriptions "United States of America" and "quarter dollar," clearly stating the issuing nation and denomination. From a metal composition standpoint, the 1971 D quarter is part of the copper-nickel-clad coinage introduced after the Coinage Act of 1965, which removed silver from circulating quarters. The coin is composed of 2 outer layers of copper-nickel bonded to a pure copper core, giving it a silver-colored appearance without intrinsic precious metal value. This change allowed the U.S. Mint to reduce costs, prevent hoarding, and maintained sufficient coin supplies nationwide while preserving the traditional look and feel of earlier silver coins. The physical characteristics of the 1971 D quarter include a diameter of 24.3 millimeters, a weight of 5.67 grams, and a reeded edge with evenly spaced grooves. These specifications ensured compatibility with vending machines and coin-operated systems across the country, while also continuing long-standing anti-counterfeiting measures. The overall design and dimensions remained consistent with previous Washington quarters, providing continuity and public familiarity. The historical context of 1971 adds further depth to this coin's story. The United States was experiencing significant economic and political change, including the winding down of the Vietnam War, shifts in social attitudes, and major monetary decisions such as the end of the gold standard, often referred to as the Nixon shock. Inflation and economic uncertainty were growing concerns, and everyday coins like the quarter played a vital role in daily commerce during this period. The 1971 D quarter circulated through grocery stores, gas stations, public transportation systems, and countless small transactions, making it a true artifact of American daily life in the early 1970s. In terms of mintage, the Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of 1971 D quarters, ensuring ample supply for circulation. Because of this large production, the coin is considered common in circulated condition and is widely available to collectors. However, uncirculated examples with strong luster and minimal contact marks are more desirable and can command higher premiums, especially when professionally graded. Regarding collector value, a circulated 1971 D quarter is typically worth face value, but coins in uncirculated or high mint state grades can be worth several dollars or more, depending on condition and eye appeal. Additionally, error coins, such as off-center strikes, double dies, weak strikes, or improper clad bonding, are of particular interest to collectors and can carry significantly higher values depending on the type and severity of the error. For numismatists, the 1971 D Washington quarter holds importance as a representative coin of the mature clad coin era. Stable post-1960s minting practices. Early 1970s American economic history. A key date in long-running Washington quarter collections. In conclusion, the United States quarter dollar 1971 D mint mark, Liberty may appear ordinary at first glance, but it carries deep historical, cultural, and economic significance. It reflects a nation adapting to change while maintaining continuity in its symbols and traditions. Whether studied by collectors, featured in educational content, or preserved as a historical artifact, this coin serves as a lasting reminder of America's journey through the early 1970s and the enduring legacy of its coinage. Next top 4. The United States of America quarter dollar dated 1977 D mint mark is a meaningful example of late 1970s American coinage, representing a period of economic adjustment, social change, and continuity in national symbols. This coin is part of the long-running Washington quarter series, first introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th birth anniversary of George Washington, the first president of the United States and a lasting symbol of leadership, independence, and democratic values. By 1977, the Washington quarter had been in continuous production for 45 years, making it one of the most familiar coins in American daily life, used constantly in commerce, transportation, and everyday transactions across the country. The obverse, front, of the 1977 D quarter features the iconic left-facing portrait of George Washington, designed by sculptor John Flanagan. Washington's portrait conveys dignity, firmness, and calm authority, reflecting the ideals of stability and leadership that Americans valued during the late 1970s, a time when the nation was recovering from political scandals and adjusting to new economic realities. Above Washington's head is the inscription Liberty, a foundational principle of the United States symbolizing personal freedom, civil rights, and democratic governance. To the left of Washington's neck is the national motto In God We Trust, emphasizing faith and moral grounding, while the date 1977 appears below the portrait, marking the year of issue during a decade characterized by inflation, energy concerns, and global tension. A defining characteristic of this coin is the D mint mark, which appears on the obverse near Washington's ponytail and indicates that the coin was struck at the Denver Mint in Colorado. The Denver Mint played a crucial role in producing circulating coinage for the western and central United States, and in 1977 it struck hundreds of millions of quarters to meet the ongoing demand for everyday money. The presence of the mint mark reflects the fully restored mint identification system that had been re-established in 1968 after its temporary suspension during the mid-1960s silver crisis. The reverse, back, of the 1977 D quarter features the classic heraldic bald eagle, the national bird of the United States and a powerful symbol of strength, vigilance, and freedom. The eagle is shown with wings fully spread, clutching arrows in its talons to represent military strength and national defense, while olive branches beneath the eagle symbolize peace and diplomacy. Above the eagle appears the Latin motto E pluribus unum, meaning out of many one, a phrase that reflects the unity of the individual states into a single nation. Surrounding the design are the inscriptions United States of America and quarter dollar, clearly identifying the issuing nation and denomination. From a metal composition standpoint, the 1977 D quarter is part of the copper-nickel-clad coinage system introduced after the Coinage Act of 1965, which eliminated silver from circulating quarters. The coin consists of two outer layers of copper-nickel bonded to a pure copper core, giving it a silver-colored appearance without containing precious metal. This composition allowed the U.S. Mint to control costs, prevent hoarding, and maintain adequate coin supplies during a period of rising inflation and economic uncertainty. The physical specifications of the 1977 D quarter include a diameter of 24.3 millimeters, a weight of 5.67 grams, and a reeded edge. The reeded edge continues a long tradition in U.S. coinage and serves as a security feature to discourage counterfeiting. These consistent dimensions also ensured compatibility with vending machines, parking meters, and public transportation systems nationwide. The historical context of 1977 adds significant depth to this coin's story. The United States was under the leadership of President Jimmy Carter, dealing with challenges such as high inflation, unemployment, and an ongoing energy crisis. Americans relied heavily on small denomination coins like the quarter for daily purchases, including public transit fares, payphones, and vending machines. The 1977 D quarter circulated widely during this era, making it a true artifact of everyday American life in the late 1970s. In terms of mintage, the Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of 1977 D quarters, making the coin very common in circulated condition. Because of this large production, the coin is easily accessible to collectors and is a standard entry in Washington quarter collections. However, coins in uncirculated or mint state condition, especially those with strong luster and minimal contact marks, are more desirable and can command higher premiums. Regarding collector value, a circulated 1977 D quarter is generally worth face value, but examples in higher grades may be worth several dollars, particularly if professionally graded. Collectors also actively seek error coins, such as off-center strikes, double dies, clipped planchets, or defects in the clad bonding, which can greatly increase a coin's value depending on rarity and condition. For numismatists and historians, the 1977 D Washington quarter is important because it represents the mature clad coin era, stable late 1970s U.S. minting practices, a coin that circulated during economic and social adjustment, a key date in long-running Washington quarter collections. In conclusion, the United States quarter dollar 1977 D mint mark, Liberty may seem like an ordinary circulating coin, but it carries deep historical, economic, and cultural significance. It reflects the resilience of the American monetary system, the continuity of national symbols, and the daily experiences of Americans during a challenging decade. Whether used for educational storytelling, documentary narration, or coin collecting,